So I woke up early this morning and I decided to make a video to talk a little bit about why Dawn and I have decided to move to Leland, North Carolina. And this is a surprise to many people in New York, many of my friends, especially here in Mount Kisco, because we've had a great time here. 29 years, it's been terrific. But Dawn and I have been talking about this for a number of years. I think we started talking about this 8 years ago when we visited my sister in South Carolina. Also, I've always had this kind of spirit, this kind of free spirit attitude. In 1980, I made the best decision of my life to leave New York, move to Colorado. I didn't have much money. I didn't know a single person there, but it changed my entire life. I got a degree from University of Colorado. I met my wife, Dawn, there. So a couple things about being in New York. You know, both of our parents, Dawn's parents and my parents, have passed. One of my sons lives in Pittsburgh and has said that he's going to stay there. And one of my sons, Justin, is still with us here. But while my relatives, some of them live in the New York area, we don't really get together that often. You know, some are in Queens, Long Island, upstate New York. And it seems like it's sometimes, even though it's not a great distance, but we don't see each other very much. And I want to talk a little bit about Mount Kisco and our neighborhood, or here on High Street. You know, we have so many wonderful people here. You know, it's really been a great place to raise our kids and to live. But there's been a change, and still lots of wonderful people, but people moving in with younger kids. And Dawn and I no longer have younger kids. And while we're not excluded necessarily, you don't feel like you have as much of a place here as you did when you were younger. I'm 64 now, and it's just you don't have the commonalities, right? These kids are going to school, they're involved in particular activities, etc. So one of the big influences on us is this idea of moving to a place with people of the same age or similar age, because we're really looking for more socialization, more opportunities to get together. And I think that since 75% of the community we're moving to are retirees or semi-retirees, they are looking for socialization. There's so many groups and clubs and things that you could join that I found out about. Here in Mount Kisco, you know, while I know I have a lot of Facebook posts about, you know, I go to this event or that event, or I'm at Mimi's Coffee House, but I have to say that 98% of the time, I initiate social connections. If I had $1 for every time someone said, let's get together, but never followed through, I'd be a rich man. And it gets old, and to be honest with you, sometimes it's a little bit lonely. This community we're moving to, you know, we can tell we've met people on our block already, and they come out and they're so friendly and they invite you into their homes because they're looking for the same thing. They're looking for socialization. Interestingly enough, many of the people are transplants from the Northeast and have the same ideas in mind that we have. Mount Kisco is a great village to live in. Some of you know I'm I guess a liberal person politically, but I also have kind of middle of the road views on some things that I'm not really that comfortable expressing, because there's kind of a hypersensitivity in the country right now, and it exists in Mount Kisco, that about particular issues. So I've been a little bit quiet about that. Another thing that I've noticed is there's a tremendous amount of aggressive driving here in New York. I see it every time I go on the road. You know, once you get out of the New York, New Jersey area, it just changes. You know, the highways, you don't have people coming up right behind you, swooping around, going across two lanes. You just don't see it very much. And even in a little village here, which is great, I mean, the amount of people breaking the law, going over a double line because they're impatient, making an illegal U-turn, and not to mention the cell phone issue is just huge. I was in North Carolina for a week. Did I see people looking at their cell phones once in a while? Once in a while. But this is an epidemic here. Another thing I'll mention is that New York, we have things like tolls, for example. Tolls all over the place. What is it, like $7 with an easy pass to go over the Whitestone Bridge, come back? It's kind of ridiculous, and it's something that we have been forced to pay, and can't really do anything about it. It seems like. Property taxes. We're going to be paying $4,000 less a year for a brand new house that is actually almost twice as big as the house that we're living in Mount Kisco. I mean, it's just crazy. The sales tax in Mount Kisco is 8.38%. Leland, North Carolina, 6.75%. We just signed up for a fiber optic internet in North Carolina, and it's about 40 to 50% less of the cost here in New York, and that's for the super high speed. Lower car insurance. Average car insurance in North Carolina is $1,446. New York is a whopping $3,139. It's just crazy. Gas is 40 cents less per gallon right now. I just did this research this morning. And I also checked on the average price of groceries per month per person. New York is about $480. North Carolina is $341. The cost of electricity is about 30 to 40% less in Leland, North Carolina. And the average cost of a restaurant meal is about 30% less. So let's wrap this up. I'm rambling on. The cost of entertainment, for example. Let's take a John Mayer concert, right? One of my favorite artists. So same level seats, one level up at Madison Square Garden. Tickets are $301, and they're only resale available. The face value available in Charlotte is $99.50. That's a huge difference. And by the way, you can buy face value tickets. All the ticket scalpers have not bought these up. The other thing, the weather, while it's definitely hotter or slightly hotter in North Carolina during the summertime, it's also 60-something degrees for an average high during the coldest winter months in New York. And as you get older, that makes a big difference. And I tend to really lack energy in the wintertime, and I feel somewhat down. And now I'm looking forward to all these outdoor activities. The other thing, or the last thing I'm going to say, is that people are very friendly in Mount Kisco in this village, but I would say that New York in general, people are not as friendly. When you make eye contact with someone, or you try to make eye contact with someone, people often stare right forward. Every place I went to in Leland, people were like, "Hello, sir, how are you today? What's going on?" They'd engage in conversation, and those of you who know me, I'm a very social person, so this totally appealed to me. So I just thought I'd do this because I think some of you are probably thinking about doing the same thing, probably thinking about moving, and I maybe this helps, and that's it. Have a good day.